Well, we met when I was 15. It was a going back to school party. One of our mutual friends was having it. And then we just we sat down and he was at the table I was at, and we just started talking, and he was really nice and really charming, and we just kept talking. We talked all night.
I was scared to go up and talk to her. Thought she looked amazing. I was scared to talk to her.
And then the very next day he called me and asked me to go to the movies, and then he asked me out, and we've been dating ever since.
I fell in love that night when I first saw her.
The first I love you wasn't until probably a couple months later, and I actually
You said it.
slipped. I wasn't gonna say it first. He was leaving and saying something, and he was leaving real fast. I was like, all right, love you. And then he was like, what did you say? And I was like, nothing. And he was like, what did you say? He was like, say it again. Say it again. I was like, I didn't say anything. He was like, say it, please say it. And I was like, so I said it. And he was like, I love you too. It was corny, but it was cute. We went to this beautiful place to eat, really expensive. And we ate, and at the end of the night, he was like, can I have a kiss? And he leaned forward, and we were at the table, so I was leaning forward. He's like, I can't reach, hold on. So he started walking around, and he walked around, he got on his knee, and I was crying because I didn't think it was gonna happen. It was awesome. Right after I got engaged, I was so excited, or started looking at stuff, and then I found out I was pregnant a couple months later. So I guess a baby happened sometime around when he proposed. First time I knew that Brian was really there for me, I had to have a C-section, and whenever I had the C-section, I remember they make you get up the next morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, take a shower, and you just have a baby, you're feel gross, it's weird, everything's different. And I remember him going in there and washing me, and I remember crying I was on the wall, because everything just felt so weird for me, and my stomach was all weird and gushy, and there's blood, and I was just crying, and he was like, what's wrong? And I told him I look disgusting, and he was like, you're beautiful, I love you. And that was my time. I was he really does love me. And I knew he loved me, but that's when I really felt he really loves me.
Dude.
And then that's kind of when all of this happened. I started having horrible pains in my stomach, and they were I went to the hospital several times about it, and they said I was fine. They did ultrasound, and then I went to a gastroenterologist, and they ran some tests and said I needed my gallbladder removed. It wasn't working. That's where the pain was coming from. So then I got that removed. I went to the pharmacy. They gave me the scripts. I went home and took it. Within 15 minutes, I started feeling really sick, nauseous. My neck, my jaw started hurting really bad. It was a stiff feeling, and it just hurt. And I told him. He said he was going to call the pharmacy to see if that's normal. So he told them. They told him to take me to the hospital. But in the car, I kept going in and out of it, and he said, and I started acting real weird. By the time I got to the hospital, I started hallucinating. And so they told him, who are you to her? And he said, I'm her fiance. And he said, and do you know, does she have a written will? And he, I guess, was what's going on?
I said, what?
And they told him that I had a severe case of something called serotonin syndrome, which is from combining those two medicines together. It's a rare chemical reaction, I guess, that can happen. And they told him that if they needed to put me into a self-induced coma, or my body could start shutting down and I could die. So my nervous system and my brain was all affected by it. Everything that happened, the seizures, the meningitis, the serotonin syndrome, and that whenever it healed, I'd be fine. At the time, I didn't know I couldn't walk, or that anything was wrong with me. And then she had me try to walk, and I couldn't. She had to put a gait belt on me, and I'm using the walker, and she was trying to get me to move, and I just couldn't really do it.
Well, when she went to the hospital, she was in there for a couple months, felt like forever. But I was there, I went there every day after work. Me and baby Brian would go there and see her every day.
He did a lot more than that. He took care of our son, who was not even 2 at the time. It was a year and a half, and I had never been away from him since I went in there, and he just did everything for him and took care of our household and our bills. And then whenever I got out, I was still in a wheelchair and using walkers. He would carry me everywhere I needed to go if I needed to.
Carry her upstairs to bed.
And put me in and out of the car. There's times when I couldn't wash my own hair. He would bathe me. There's a lot of stuff that he did that I don't know if other people would do or be there for you at the time. And then from all of this happening, it just made us even closer. I have days when I don't want to walk at all, like it just hurts. And that's the thing that's so hard about this, like it's like unanswered. Like there's like, what caused this? Why did it happen? Why did he? And like we can't tell you that, and that's like the hardest part for me. Like, or when am I gonna get better? Or am I gonna get better? Like there's not really answers to these questions, and that's why it bothered me as much as it does. I think we got through it.
This year will be better.
Yeah, this year's gonna be great.